Nicki Minaj calls Jay-Z a scammer who scammed her out of millions on his Tidal deal. And when Steve Stout said something, she said he's a 60-year-old man that likes getting fingered in the... What up, world? It's your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. We appreciate you. Gang, listen, I'm going to do my best to put this in a nutshell because this is wild, man. They saying your boy Jay is a scammer. They saying your boy Jay doing the 3-card Molly. They saying your boy Jay is a shucker and a jabber. Nicki Minaj is pissed, gang. She got a lot to say about this situation. Now, I remember being a little confused when Jay-Z sold Tidal because it was a lot of conversation about how Tidal was supposed to be for the artists and it was supposed to be changing the narrative and a lot of us artists would be better off. We would be better paid and the percentage points would be higher and a lot of stuff that was going to benefit us. It was a way back in, what was it, 2015, something like that. Jay-Z bought this little streaming service. I believe it was overseas, like Germany or something. He paid for it. He put equity in it, let's say that. And he brought in 16 artists for a 3% stake in the company. You remember all them commercials about how they were changing the game for the everyday artists? It was, let me see if I can get this right. It was Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, Usher, T.I., Alicia Keys, and Lil Wayne were among the 16 co-owners of Tidal, who basically were brought in to promote it and to be giving exclusive music and things like that nature. And for a time, it was good, right? Tidal never really lived up to what they thought it was going to do, but for a time, it was giving them a run for their money. Apple Music has and will always be bigger, but for a certain time, remember Jay was like, oh, they'd rather spend their money with the white man rather than me, da-da-da. Like, just making it like Tidal was that move, and if you didn't run with it, then you was kind of like betraying, like, the culture, right? Let me just put it like that. And I actually did pay for Tidal. I paid that excessive, which I thought was excessive, $13.99, just on the strength that Jay was saying it was supposed to be for the artists, and the artists would be getting bigger percentages and royalty, and I'm not the only one who did that. I know a lot of people went and paid for Tidal. It was supposed to be high definition, right? All this, it was supposed to have this stereo quality, and it was a grade above whatever your sound level was. It was a grade above that. Your vinyl would sound like vinyl, all this stuff, right? Tidal was supposed to be that thing, and I you know, it was a little louder. It was louder. Okay, it was louder, but high definition and all that. But I didn't find it enough to keep paying for it, but I did pay for it up until Jay-Z sold it. Now, Jay-Z allegedly, or not allegedly, he sold it to his man, Jack Dorsey, who was the CEO of Twitter. See, what these guys, that are very rich, they don't run in the same circles. They run in their own circles because they can't be really chilling with a lot of guys that of our nature that don't really have what they got because it don't really make no sense. So they chill with each other and they make deals with each other. They may be in a steam room, they may be in a sauna, they may be at a bar, may be at a golf club, and get to talking about this, that, and the third, and before you know it, some rich guy done sold something to another rich guy, right? And apparently, Jack Dorsey bought Tidal, which I well documented that I was really confused and upset with Jay. Like, I don't really get mad at Jay for a lot of stuff, but that move kind of upset me because it was supposed to be, and I get it, rich buy, they buy low, sell high. I get all that. But if you're going to buy it to sell it, that's one thing. But don't sell us a pipe dream when you buy it and sell it, right? Don't sell us like the artists deserve better. Like, you know, this is for the artists. It's going to make the culture, the movement, da-da-da. You putting all this rap stuff on there. You got all these exclusives and you're making it like you're making this movement. And then about 3 years later when it's losing money, you sell it, right? Right? And I kind of didn't really agree with that. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just being honest with that. I kind of felt the way. I even did a video for it. It was a couple years ago, and I felt the way. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think that when you play on artists' emotions, that at that point you get to turn around in 2 years, 3 years, and just sell it abruptly, right? To some guy that really don't know what he's doing, what he doesn't really care. It's a business investment. He's like, I'm gonna try to keep it the way the movement was going for the artists, but it pretty much was over. Once Jay sold it, people like myself stopped paying the $13.99 and it died, right? I say all that to say this. Nicki is claiming she never got anything from that deal. She's calling Jay a scammer. She's saying the whole Tidal was a scam. And you do remember when Tidal was accused of fudging their numbers, right? A lot of their numbers, people were saying there's no possible way. Remember when Kanye dropped Life of Pablo and Beyonce dropped, I believe maybe it was Lemonade or whatever it was, and Jay had dropped maybe 444. Just whatever was dropping was getting these massive numbers. First they would not disclose the numbers, and then it was these secret leaks of these huge numbers, and they were saying that they were not being honest about this. So Tidal was always looked at. I believe they got audited, and a lot of stuff just was going on with Tidal, where it was always under some type of scrutiny of not being fully honest and kind of being a little shady and saying they were doing better than they were. And I guess those better than they were numbers weren't that real because Jay ended up actually selling the whole thing, right? So I said to say this, it was always a little funky business going on at Tidal, right? So Nicki's mad right now. So first of all, she really only came out because the Lil Wayne Super Bowl debacle, right? According to if you're in the Young Money camp, it's a debacle. Wayne is crushed. I'm hurt. I'm devastated. Wayne is like, he just can't. He took him a couple of days to respond because he didn't get the Super Bowl, and he thought it was his for the taking, and but the fans lifted him up. Remember that? Like a couple of days ago, Lil Wayne was just disheveled, and he was like, the fans thought he didn't thank Kendrick, but he thanked the fans for supporting him, right? So Nicki came out in Wayne's defense. She's all upset. She's just wild-eyed and just incensed about Jay didn't put, this there you go, hating on a black man, a young black man. She called Wayne a young black man, right? Meanwhile, she's younger than Lil Wayne. But I say all that to say, Nicki began this tirade on JayZ when she was defending Lil Wayne against the tyranny of JayZ leaving him off of the Super Bowl in New Orleans that he surely was supposed to have, right? So then she goes on to start ranting about Jay himself, I guess she's just sitting there thinking about how this guy's just a jerk. And she starts wanting to tell us that Jay burnt her on the Tidal situation. She never got $1. I'm going to read what she said, and we're going to have a conversation, right? She's claiming when that Tidal deal was happening to sell it for the 200 and I believe I said 97 million. She said, quote, "I received a call advising Tidal was sold and they made no money on the deal. I just told you they made like almost 300 mil. So all they could offer me was $1 million. But wait, there's more. The lawyer advised that Desiree advised him that I had to sign the agreement in 24 hours if I wanted the 1 million or the offer was off the table. So she had to take $1 million in 24 hours. You got to sign it in 24 hours. That's kind of wild. They're telling you your lawyers can't look at it. Nobody can look at it. We just need this signed real quick. Blah, 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 blah. Listen to the end of the fractions for what my response was, right? So she's saying that Jay or Jay's affiliate, Jay's team, Rock Nation, offered her $1 million. Now, reports are saying that every single one of those co-owners that I told you in the beginning of the video received $8.9 million. They received almost $9 million each when they divided up what they were supposed to get from that sale, which is a pretty good bag. She's saying, no, they called me, giving me $1 million and telling me I had 24 hours to sign it. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's foul. That's foul. That's foul if that is really true that Jay or Rock Nation offered her $1 million. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not one to, I try to be fair, right? I don't rush to the defense of Nicki Minaj too often because a lot of times Nicki just rambling and just going on and on. It's always somebody, she's like a victim at all times, right? But in this situation, if they made $297 million off the Tidal deal and you're offering one of your 16 owners $1 million, that's foul. I'm just going to be honest. JayZ has spoke about the deal and said, I said from the beginning that Tidal was about more than just streaming music. And 6 years later, it has remained a platform that supports artists at every point of their careers. Artists deserve better tools to assist them in their creative journey. Jack and I have had many discussions about Tidal's endless possibilities that have made me even more inspired about its future, right? Jack Dorsey echoed his sentiments and said, it comes down to one simple idea, finding new ways for artists to support their work. New ideas are found at intersections, and we believe there's a compelling one between music and the economy. Now, I hear all that. I don't remember all that happening once Jay sold that thing to Jack Dorsey. I don't even think Jack Dorsey even owns it anymore. I think some type of firm bought it from Jack Dorsey. I could be wrong, but I don't even think he owns it anymore. So they shuffled it around and sold it and resold it. They did what rich people do. So they told us all that stuff you just heard, and Tidal was supposed to be the it platform. None of that stuff really panned out, and they gave everybody almost $9 million, except for according to Nicki Minaj. Now, she went on to call JayZ some of the most heinous things I think this man has ever been called. We've heard JayZ call some wild, heinous things, but this was one of the wildest rants about JayZ we probably has ever heard. I believe she called him an ugly alien, and she was just saying, as far as him and Steve Stout, who I'm going to tell you about in a minute, Steve Stout is a very successful entrepreneur in music as well. He goes way back in the business as far back as Jay. He goes back to Nas. He managed Nas. He goes back to You Can Hate Me Now, all that good stuff like that there. And he rolls with JayZ. There are cliques and there are sections of people who roll together. And Steve Stout is a staunch JayZ defender, along with the infamous Elliott Wilson, who was also a JayZ defender. And Steve Stout came out on a podcast called The Pivot Podcast with a lot to say about Nicki Minaj, right? He goes, I think in that case what Nicki did was wrong. To bring up Tidal, Jay's streaming company, that he gave you equity in, that you didn't sign the effing paperwork, and that's the reason you left millions of dollars on the table. JayZ didn't do nothing to you. The crabs in the barrel thing, we can't do that. That's black on black crime, he added. I don't like that. I think Nicki is great, but don't do that. Do that in private. So he's telling Nicki to watch your mouth, chill out. You coming at a man that ain't do nothing to hurt you, and you're doing black on black. You're going against the culture. You're going against the grain. Now, I believe people got the right to say whatever they want to say. A lot of this stuff, I understand what he's trying to say. Yo, keep it in-house. You ain't got to go to the media, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, a Tidal deal happened mad years ago. If she's just now coming out about this ain't her running to the media. Just going to be honest with you. Now, how long is she supposed to keep this quiet if this is a real issue that she wants? We champion everybody else for coming out, Me Too, and all this. Everybody that's saying they're telling their truth and da. We champion them. We champion the people. We champion Cassie for coming out against Diddy. Why can't Nicki Minaj say this against Jay? And Jay's my man. I'll tell you that all the time. I rock with Jay, but what's going on? Like, Jay can defend himself. I don't know why Steve Stout is jumping out there in regards to this, defending Jay. And I understand you're his man and yada yada. But at the same time, some stuff is not for you to be speaking on, and some stuff is not secret. This right here, this will be saying, don't make Jay look bad. That's all he's saying right now. I'm just being honest. Jay can defend himself. Only thing Steve Stout is saying, don't make JayZ look bad. Right? JayZ can defend himself. Now, he's saying she didn't sign the paperwork. What if Nicki didn't sign the paperwork? She did honestly say, I didn't sign the paperwork for that in 25, so I never got $1, right? Now, he's talking about you never got your $9 million because you didn't sign the paperwork. Somewhere down the middle, somebody's not telling the truth. She claims she promoted it more than anybody, which Nicki Minaj did do a lot of promoting for Tidal. I can't remember who else. Like Kanye was back and forth. He was with it one day, and the next day he was mad at Jay, and he was talking about pulling everything off. It just was a weird thing. So Nicki really was one of the most vocal people promoting Tidal back in the day, as far as I remember. I can't remember anybody else. I know Bieber was involved and a couple other people, but I don't know who else off the top of my head who was more involved than Nicki Minaj. So she should have gotten a bag out of that situation. Now, we all know, let's be honest, that Nicki can be one thing one day and another thing another day, and we don't know if she flipped, or we don't know if she said one thing and did another. We don't know if she just didn't sign the paperwork and was looking for more money, and we know she had issues with Beyonce and Jay. After Beyonce did that song with Meg Thee Stallion, I believe that there was an issue, right? So we don't know if she just got mad and was like, I ain't signing nothing. But end of the day, she had a lot to say about Steve Stout. She fired off. She said, every day a new man pushing 60 years of age gets fingered in the bussy, then made to come on this internet and lie on me. God is in control. Bookmark this. I'd advise y'all to never mention my name again. So, Barbs, thank you for supporting something I was a part of. I love you, but I was scammed and offered $1 million to be silenced. I declined. I don't need their hush money. So she's saying Jay-Z offered her hush money to be quiet. And in essence, if he did offer her hush money, Steve Stout is saying be quiet even though you didn't even get the hush money. I don't know if Jay scammed her. I don't believe Jay would ever scam anybody. I don't think Jay got where he is in his business by scamming people. I really, really don't believe this man is a scammer. I believe that Nicki Minaj may be rewriting history a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We've all had people go out and say things about us and tell a whole fabricated tale that ain't got no lick a bit of truth to it. So I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that that thing was sold. I think that Nicki, if I gotta go on what she's saying, maybe they did try to lowball her. Maybe she was out of the loop, and by the time that it came to that sale, maybe Jay and Nicki was on real bad terms. And I'm gonna tell you something I've learned about this business. People do different things when y'all not on the same terms as when you started. Because when she first started that and she got involved, one of the 16 artists that was involved with Tidal, they were on really good terms. You don't make a call like that. Yo, I want you in on this multi-million-dollar deal if you're not cool with that person. Ain't nobody in that lineup that Jay wasn't cool with. So by the time that 6 years was up and Jay sold it, they might not have been on the best of terms no more. So he was like, man, I'm not giving her nothing. She gonna get a meal if she signed in 24 hours. I think that's possible. It's hard. That's a real hard story to make up. I'm just gonna be honest. That's a real doozy to make up a 24-hour contract that you're gonna get $1 million. That's a wild story to make up. I'm just gonna be honest. So that sounds plausible. That sounds like a fire sale. And at the time, that title was a fire sale. But I also know that they were in the news saying how much it was worth, the sale was. So I don't know why they would try to lowball her with $1 million. But I believe that they were on the outs, and I believe that they may have offered her some wild, thinking that she's like just going to grab it and run because they told her there was nothing there. And by the time you sign that contract, it don't matter what happens after that. You already signed it and took the money. This is how they play. They play dirty. So I don't know what Jay really actually did, but at the end of the day, sue them. If you really feel like they owe you, we see a lawsuit coming. I see you suing for the $9 million plus the damages and whatever, the psychological, whatever. So just sue them. I don't know how you've been on Twitter calling him a 60-year-old getting the finger in the bussy, right? I don't know how that's going to affect whatever you got going on, and it definitely ain't going to get you no money in your pocket. Steve Stout is riding with his man. That's where the money's at for him. So he's going to say whatever he's going to say. I don't feel like she should have to be quiet because this is where the era where everything, truth is coming to light. So Steve low-key is trying to play damage control, but I think he doesn't have to do that, right? I don't think people are going to take his word for anything over hers because they both looking at them like, where's Jay-Z what is he going to say about this? So I think Steve Stout swooping in is a mistake in a way. And maybe there's more to what he said, but from what he said, I don't hear nothing that convinces me that this didn't happen. Let me know what you think. CLBMG, hit the Cashapp, hit the share button, hit the like button. Put in the comments, do you think Jay-Z scammed Nicki or Nicki bugging out? I don't know, man. It's inconclusive, but we will see. All right? Catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.